want to keep that going. So I want to say to the workers, we're in your corner. The labor market arrangements are not the best, we know that, but we are working feverishly to change that. And we're changing it because we're empowering you. We're giving you skills, we're giving you capacity, we're giving you the ability to transform and to pivot, to change when the market changes, so you become even more relevant. And in so doing, you are going to attract a higher price for your service.
Mr. Bartlett, thank you so very much for that, and thank you for your time and being our special guest on Mello TV News and our Mello TV special.
Thank you so much. You're such a charming host, and I appreciate the interview. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Jamaica Weekly, the voice of Jamaica, is Jamaica's newest and most exciting full-color tabloid newspaper, packed with news, sports, entertainment, and a whole lot more. Jamaica Weekly is free and is distributed every Thursday to businesses and consumers island-wide. Pick up your free copy of Jamaica Weekly today at major retail outlets near you, supermarkets, pharmacies, and service stations. For more information, call 876-616-3031. Jamaica Weekly. Pick up your free copy today.
Coming up in this evening's news, Ministry of Health confirms 63 cases of COVID-19 in Jamaica after today's confirmation of 4 new cases. Detectives from the Trelawney Division charge 6 men for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act. President of the PNP, Dr. Peter Phillips, successfully completes surgical treatment for colon cancer and is now recovering comfortably at home. Still tonight, 31-year-old Ronigo Misick of a Turks and Caicos address who was staying in Walkerswood, Monique, St. Anne, has been missing since Thursday, April 2. And JN Group establishes a member welfare fund that will help to ease the burden on its members and customers who are being affected by the coronavirus. Good evening, and now the news in detail. Today is being observed as World Health Day, and as such, Mello TV would like to thank all healthcare workers locally and internationally on the front lines who have been ensuring the health and well-being of the people of Jamaica and the rest of the world. As at this evening, April 7, Jamaica has confirmed 63 cases of the COVID-19 coronavirus after recording 4 new cases today. The latest patients are all contacts of a confirmed case in Kingston and St. Andrew. 33 men and 30 women have tested positive for COVID-19, while a 9th patient has fully recovered from the virus. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that the government will extend the current island-wide nightly curfew. Other measures to address the COVID-19 pandemic, including working from home and the closure of the island's borders, will also be extended in accordance with the relevant orders. Other emergency measures stipulate that persons aged 75 and older must remain at home. Additionally, all public sector employees 65 years and older must work from home. Prime Minister Andrew Holness also announced that every person that entered the island as of March 18 will be quarantined for a further 14 days after the initial period of 7 days, while adding that no public gatherings shall exceed 10 persons. The measures took effect on March 25. In news from Trelawney, detectives from the Trelawney Division charged 6 men for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act after they were found at a bar in the parish yesterday. Charged are 53-year-old Carlton Clark, businessman of Hague District, 53-year-old Glenroy Jones of Florence Hall, 48-year-old Bonnie Ambersley, unemployed of Race Course, 37-year-old O'Neill Smith, chef of Bounty Hall, 39-year-old Omar Blair, unemployed of Sherwood Content, and 68-year-old George Morrison, farmer of Sawyers, all from Trelawney addresses. Reports are that between 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., lawmen who were on an operation in the area heard music coming from a bar. An investigation was conducted and the men were found in the bar that was in operation. The men were arrested and later charged. As we continue to bring you updates of matters surrounding COVID-19, due to the ongoing threat of the coronavirus, a group of 45 ship workers aboard the Mello Discovery 2 that anchored in Kingston were denied clearance one day after the vessel landed in Jamaican waters. Recently, the government ordered that all ports of entry must remain closed until the COVID-19 pandemic has passed. But the Jamaicans on board the Mello Discovery 2 were forced to sail back to Portugal, one of the destinations being badly affected by the coronavirus in Europe. It is understood that the Jamaican crew members were willing to abide by the measures governing the COVID-19 regulations and allow themselves to be placed in quarantine if they had been allowed to disembark in Kingston. But their appeal was denied. The vessel has since set sail for Lisbon. Still making Mello TV news tonight, the People's National Party's spokesman on finance, Mark Golding, is calling on the government to put in place a comprehensive safety net to help safeguard the vulnerable population in Jamaica while the country goes through the COVID-19 pandemic. In an exclusive interview with our news team earlier today, Mr. Golding outlined ways that the COVID-19 pandemic will affect Jamaica now and in the long run.
People are not even allowed to come into Jamaica now because we have to try and manage this epidemic or this pandemic. The effect of that is that we have lost our tourist industry for a period of time. All of the major markets or societies where we receive remittances from are all under severe pressure from the pandemic. And their economies are being impacted as well. So remittances into Jamaica are already starting to fall. And there's a general reduction in most of the economic activity in the country as a result of people changing their lifestyles, traveling less, going out less. So that means less money circulating, less business is being done. There are a few exceptions because I think there's been some stocking up of food and so on by some people that has tended to drive food sales in March. But that's not going to be a sustained thing because I don't think people are going to be eating more than before, really. They're just preparing for what's coming. As a result of that, there's going to be a lot of dislocation in people's lives. Many people will have been laid off in the tourism industry, and a lot of the spin-offs that rely on the tourism industry, and those flow from entertainment, transport, restaurants, agriculture, all of that. And of course, as that flows through, you're going to find, and we are finding, that people are starting to have less and less money to spend. And the people who are at the bottom of society in terms of their economy and their income are going to be very vulnerable.
Mr. Golding also said that he and the PNP support what the government has announced so far. He, however, expressed that that effort will not be sufficient to carry the society through this crisis.
And we support what the government has announced so far. I'm not trying to be contentious or adversarial in any way. And I speak to the finance minister regularly, and we exchange ideas and all of that. What they have done so far, they've announced really a $10.65 billion plan, which they've called CARE. And that is to provide financial support to various pockets of persons who are vulnerable. My problem with that is that it's a 0.5% of 1% of GDP. And I don't think that that's going to be sufficient to tide the society through this crisis without there being serious dislocation. I don't want to predict what that dislocation will be and what form it can take. But I do feel that it's the 0.5% of GDP is not going to be, it's a good start. And to the extent it's rolled out in April, people hopefully will be able to access those benefits soon, and it will smooth life over for a period of time. But I think the economic effects of this are going to be deep and lasting for a while. And I don't think that 10.65% is going to be sufficient. Also, even within the current design, there are requirements that have been imposed to access the different measures, which are going to create gaps, because not people who really need the help aren't all going to be able to qualify for that help.
Mr. Goulding further outlined ways that the government can fund a bigger program to assist the country through the COVID-19 crisis.
To fund a bigger program, the government would have to do a few things, or a combination. They would have to look at the budget that has been approved and decide what expenditures they may defer, either to be only partly expended in this fiscal year or completely deferred to the next, to free up fiscal space for this program. That's one possible approach. There's $140 billion of capital expenditure in the budget and in the public bodies. So the timing and sequencing of that provides a possibility for some resources to be reallocated towards this crisis, because the government has admitted that the budget was cast prior to COVID. So COVID wasn't in the minds of the people formulating the budget, which is understandable given the timing. Then to the extent that there are cash flow issues, the government may have to borrow. The Gleaner, for example, is calling for the government to go to the IMF. There is no current balance of payments crisis in the country. The exchange rate is fairly stable. The reserves, I believe, are stable. The last time I saw numbers, they were over 3 billion. But we do know that our foreign exchange flows have fallen and will be less than we're accustomed to. And I think it would be prudent for the government to proactively discuss with the IMF some form of relief so that it's available quickly when we need it, if we need it.
Still making Mello TV news, a statement released by the medical team of the leader of the opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips, yesterday outlined that health evaluations completed by UHWI professor, the Honorable Terence Forrester, and consultant surgeon Dr. Mark Newham resulted in a diagnosis of stage 3 curable colon cancer. Following Dr. Phillips's complete and successful surgical removal of the cancer on March 23, he is reportedly now recovering comfortably at home. Pathological examination of the specimen as well as staging procedures have resulted in the curable stage 3 diagnosis. Dr. Phillips will need further preventative treatment in the form of chemotherapy over the course of the next few months as an outpatient as he continues his public duties. Dr. Phillips's medical and surgical teams are optimistic of complete remission based on the worldwide experience of managing this stage. The leader of the opposition will remain on leave for the next 2 weeks. Dr. Phillips released a video explaining that he is in full recovery mode as he thanked all the doctors and healthcare staff.
By this, many of you would have heard that I had a medical procedure done a couple of weeks ago. I am home now and I am on the road to recovery. The fact is that a few weeks ago, just before the budget debate, having completed my annual medical examination, the doctors discovered an anomaly, as they call it, and figured that we needed to move rapidly, particularly because the COVID crisis was upon us as a country. They did the surgery is successful, I am now at home and I am in full recovery mode. I really want to take the opportunity today to say thanks to all of the health workers. I have a great team of professionals up at the University Hospital who young people, talented people, professional people who gave of their best and really assisted my recovery. And I want to say thanks to them. We need to give them a country equal to their talent, skill, and professionalism.
Dr. Phillips also took time to urge all Jamaicans to take the necessary steps to safeguard themselves against the COVID-19 coronavirus.
And the truth is, we rushed all of this because we weren't certain how the COVID situation was going to turn out. And I really want to urge all of you to take the COVID-19 crisis seriously. Remember, wash your hands regularly, wear your masks, maintain social distancing, because we want to see all Jamaica get through this problem. Finally, I want to thank all the thousands upon thousands of well-wishers. I've taken some of the calls, I've received some of the messages, but I feel the goodwill and the love. And I want to say thank you very much for your prayers, your good thoughts, and your good wishes that have helped me come through this difficult time. There's a lot of work to be done, and I am here to do it.
In other news tonight, President of the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, Diane Edwards, has reported that the Jamaican agricultural sector will play a key role in the country's recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. JAMPRO's president said that the large acreage of land currently under production, as well as the linkages with other sectors, presents a number of opportunities for Jamaican entrepreneurs to exploit. She said that increased production to supply the demand for Jamaican produce will position the country to recover quickly, adding that there are some extraordinary measures that Jamaica will have to take that, if taken, can see agribusiness returning to a pretty robust and even expanded level of production. JAMPRO, that is the government's principal investment and export promotion agency, was created from the amalgamation of three entities, which are the Jamaica National Export Promotion, Jamaica National Investment Promotion, and Jamaica Industrial Development Foundation. Still making Mello TV news tonight, the National Parenting Support Commission, NPSC, an agency of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, in collaboration with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Victoria Mutual Foundation, VMBS Foundation, and Fight for Peace, has launched 36 helplines to offer much-needed psychosocial care to parents across Jamaica. The helplines that became operational yesterday, April 6, have been established 2 per parish, with the exception of Kingston, St. James, St. Anne, St. Catherine, and Clarendon, which have been given additional helplines. These parishes have recorded a higher number of COVID-19 cases. In the case of Clarendon, sections of that parish remain under quarantine. Now, this initiative was launched against the background of the NPSC's implementation of the National Parenting Support Policy aimed at ensuring continuous parental involvement throughout the education sector. This is being done through a comprehensive suite of coordinated support and public-private partnerships. With the closure of schools, many parents cited challenges in helping out in homeschooling. Other parents initially reported concerns about providing food for their children, who are part of the government of Jamaica's social protection programs, where they are provided breakfast and lunch at school. The Education Ministry has since arranged 4 meals to be delivered to students on the program of advancement through health and education path, and going forward for cash payments to be made available to parents. Persons operating the helplines will help guide callers to where and how they may get additional help and what they can do as individuals. Still in Mello TV news, 31-year-old Ronigo Missick of a Turks and Caicos address, who was staying in Walkerswood, Monique St. Anne, has been missing since Thursday, April 2. He is of dark complexion, slim build, and is about 5 feet 7 inches tall. Reports from the Monique police are that Missick was last seen in Monique wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans and black shoes. All efforts to locate him have proven futile. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Renigo Missick is being asked to contact the Monique police at 876-973-0451, Police 119 Emergency, or the nearest police station. And those were some of the stories making news. We now go to sport with Christopher Scott, and I'll return with another update as the JN Group establishes a member welfare fund that will help to ease the burden on its members and customers who are being affected by the coronavirus. Now, in another news update, the Jamaica National Group says it has established a member welfare fund that will help to ease the burden on its members and customers who are being affected by the coronavirus. More in this report with Brianna Chambers.
The Jamaica National Group says it has established a member welfare fund which will help to ease the burden for its members and customers who are being affected by the coronavirus. Earl Jarrett, CEO of JN Group, announced that they have identified funds which will be delivered through the JN Circle Network and its membership, who will determine how these funds will be used in respective communities. Jarrett said the funds will be administered by the JN Foundation to address the needs of members in the communities, where its 13 JN Circle chapters are located. The JN Circle is a network of clubs comprising of JN members and customers, which was introduced in August 2019 and allows members and customers who share JN values to take action to improve outcomes for themselves and for all Jamaicans. Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Brianna Chambers.
Thank you, Brianna. And now, to end tonight's newscast, here are the main points. Ministry of Health confirms 63 cases of COVID-19 in Jamaica after today's confirmation of 4 new cases. Detectives from the Trelawney Division charged 6 men for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act. President of the PNP, Dr. Peter Phillips, has successfully completed surgical treatment for colon cancer and is now recovering comfortably at home. And 31-year-old Renigo Missick of a Turks and Caicos address, who was staying in Walkerswood, Monique St. Anne, has been missing since Thursday, April 2. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. Stay tuned for more COVID-19 updates immediately after this newscast. I am Shelly-Ann Hill. Pleasant viewing.
Jamaica Weekly, the voice of Jamaica, is Jamaica's newest and most exciting full-color tabloid newspaper, packed with news, sports, entertainment, and a whole lot more. Jamaica Weekly is free and is distributed every Thursday to businesses and consumers island-wide. Pick up your free copy of Jamaica Weekly today at major retail outlets near you, supermarkets, pharmacies, and service stations. For more information, call 876-616-3031. Jamaica Weekly. Pick up your free copy.
Need cash? WhatsApp Rapid Loans at 876-403-8048. That's 876-403-8048. Quick loans until payday. All